Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. I am Florida Mike today with my co-host Joe and the OC. Joe, how are your fish doing?
The fish are okay. There's a ghost shrimp in there if you can't tell. And you can't tell.
I can't tell.
We're
It's a
not sure.
ghost.
We're not sure that it's there. It's supposed to be there. We
Ooh.
bought it. We put it in there. So there's a ghost shrimp. There's a red shrimp, which is right there. You can obviously see. And then there's the blind frog. It's a freshwater frog, and it kind of hops around between the top and the bottom. And name is Shafade.
Is that the name of the species of the frog, or is he actually blind?
It's actually how those frogs are. It's a species. They're naturally blind.
Really?
I don't know.
Huh.
It's not my fish tank, man. I just live here and feed.
Fair enough.
That's all. That's all I really do. But I will tell you,
Is that your main function in life? You just exist and feed things that live within,
yes,
the four walls that you occupy?
yes. I feed everything. I feed my wife. I feed my child. I feed the animals, and that's what I do.
In fairness, when I was there, you fed me too.
See, well, you're one of the animals. He didn't carry.
That's why you required I had all my shots up to date, huh?
Right, see?
Okay.
It is hotter than hell here.
Oh, for you too? Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, but like we're in the type of weather that makes everything shut down. They're canceling football games. They're canceling outdoor athletic events. They're canceling.
Come on. Really?
Really. We have a
Come
whole
on.
new age.
California, grow up here.
It depends on where you are in California, I guess. Coastal California, if it gets over, I think it's 94, the world kind of shuts down. Whereas
That's a Tuesday for here.
yeah, well, I know, but inland California, when it gets up to like 112, I think that their rules are slightly different. But even still, it's a mess. You have to cancel band practice because it's too hot outside. Band practice? Really? We got to cancel band? Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, there we are.
Welcome to the new age, I guess.
New age.
So here we are. What are we starting with? We're starting with new watches?
Yeah, because I don't got anything.
You ain't got nothing?
I got nothing.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Well, you just told me you got something on the way. Do you want to discuss what you got going on real quick? That can be kind of your new stuff.
No, I want to show it because it's going to be difficult to describe and to get anybody to have some idea of what the heck I'm talking about. So,
okay, all right, fair enough.
You need to see that one when it's real.
Okay, I'll carry the weight of the show then on my shoulders here, at least for this segment. This segment here, I've got two new things.
Okay,
two new things.
I know what they are.
You know what they are.
Okay.
I will start with.
So this will be exciting.
Oh, I thought you said you know what they are. You don't know what they are?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I asked if I knew what they are. You said I did.
But yeah, you know what they are.
I don't remember. What they were, so.
I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
My very first French watch.
French for the value of French.
No, okay, yeah, sort of. I'll give you that.
Explain.
This is the Yama Yachting Graph Croisiere.
I took German in high school, man. I don't know French.
It's the Yama Yachting Graph.
There you go.
A watch that is no stranger to Yama. They had one in the 60s, and they have replicated it throughout the years, done various versions of it. There's a tourbillon version of one, even, which I think is weird, a tourbillon yacht timer.
Well, but I mean, it's a yacht timer. It makes sense. It's like having a white gold tool watch,
Well, okay, yeah. But this is the latest iteration. This is not mechanical exactly. This is a mecha quartz, so it kind of is and kind of isn't. This is one that just got really quietly released. They didn't really hype it up very much. There's two posts on their social medias about this, one for each colorway, and that's it. They said that they were doing a initial run of 250 pieces. So I don't know if that's 250 per color or 125 per color. They really didn't put out a whole lot of information on that. I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Um, I fell in love with it. Sold a few things about a month or so after this got released, and kind of went back and to see if they were still available, thinking they would have sold out, which they didn't. Which I'm
Do you
surprised.
know how many pieces are left? Do they even, is there any kind of reference?
There's zero information on it.
Okay.
Zero. All it says is low stock on the website. I was able to order one. It did arrive. Um, so I don't know because it's not selling out real fast, which usually their stuff sells pretty quickly. But again, nobody's really talking about this watch. So I don't know if they're going to manufacture more or if they're just going to leave it as it is or what's going to happen with this watch. Um, but this is very cool. I like this a lot. 37.5 millimeters. Is it, I think 11, 12 millimeters thick. Um, what's really cool about this, that kind of a throwback to the 60s, is it has, I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that? No? I thought, and it took me several days before I realized this is not a sapphire crystal. This is Hesselite.
Okay, so it's plastic.
Hesselite. And
Say it in
I
French,
think
it'd be so much better.
I think it's pretty cool
It's
because Hesselite. It's just a throwback to that vintage. I mean, Hesselite or acrylic, whatever you want to call it, just plays with the light differently than
it
glass or
does.
sapphire does. It gives it a warmer soul.
That's an interesting way to say it. I like the fact you can polish it. It does scratch, but you can polish it. And whereas when you're getting some of these vintage pieces, particularly old tool watches that are scratched, you got to replace the crystal. But we'll poly watch and everybody's good to go. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I like it. I like the fact that it's Hesselite. I like the way that this watch is done. Mecha Quartz movement is actually the same movement that's in that Pagani design. But it works in here.
it's a
So
Seiko movement, right? One of the
it's a Seiko, yeah, Seiko VK63,
something
I think is
something,
what it
right?
is. But so these are made in Morteau, France. They don't, they're not manufactured, in China or anything like that. Everything is actually manufactured in France. They buy the movements in and they're put in the cases and everything's done at they call it their workshop in Morteau, France. So I think that's kind of cool. It's a legit French watch. That's pretty neat.
You are selling this sucker so hard. You are
No,
pushing
I'm not selling it hard, but I'm
every
just
little
I'm
bit of
just
nuance. You're trying to milk all of the little weird bits and pieces of it, and you still don't go off of the fact that you took it off of the strap that it came on. You put it on the blue strap because it didn't work because there's too much yellow on the dial.
no, it has
There's
nothing
too
to do
much
with the
yellow on the
yellow.
dial, and that's why it doesn't work, and that's why you should have got the other one.
It has zero to do with the
I
yellow.
would
It
drop my
was
mic, but it would.
it had everything to do with the strap being white and the dial being white, and it was too white. It was too white.
And it made the yellow ugly. It was,
No, and nothing to do with
we
the.
had a
In
debate
fact,
about this. We had a debate. We
yeah,
had a
in fact,
discussion.
with this strap, it brings out the yellow more,
Right, it works
which
better.
is nice.
It works
Yes.
better on that strap than it did on the white strap. But we had a debate about this because I was skeptical and I'm still skeptical, and I need to see it. But once I did take a look at it, and we were talking about it, I'm like, yep, there it is. It's the yellow
It's
because
not the yellow.
it's yellow.
I
That's,
like the yellow.
I don't.
Okay,
This is
hold
not
on, hold
about
on.
you, Mike. This is me.
Listen,
No,
because it's all
my
about
turn.
you, Joe.
My turn because you talk all about it's artisanal from France and Jacques comes over and he polishes the crystals by hand. His leads, whatever.
Oh, good brother.
You were showing all these pictures of it and you get the close up of the dial and so you've got yellow highlights on the sub on the yachting timer and also the seconds hand and then there's something else that has a yellow highlight on it as well on the dial, right? Is in both sub dials?
So no, and this is weird, and it really plays zero part in any of the timing functions. Between on the minute track, the outer minute track between 25 and 35 is highlighted yellow.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Why they chose to do that, I don't understand. It's a cool little touch. It's a spark of color. I have no idea why they decided to do that though. I don't know. Weird, but I love the light colors. The lighter tone colors on this work for me. That said,
you are so Orlando, it hurts.
That said, okay, I don't know. Don't choke on your Bloody Mary there when I say this. I wish I bought the blue. I like it. I love it for what it is. I love the colors. However, for the authenticity of it,
The authenticity.
The authenticity. I wish I bought the blue. Because the blue is more traditional. The subdials are like the light blue and red, more traditional for yacht timers. So yeah, not disappointed in it at all. I'm not disappointed one bit. I do love this watch. I do wear it a lot, and when I post it, it does get a lot of love. So it's a very cool watch. Very cool.
Will be a work watch for you when you're out on your yacht. Will be a work watch for you when you're out on your yacht.
No, that's what the crew is for. I don't work on my yacht.
Okay, that's okay. Just checking. Okay.
Yeah. It's just whenever I point and tell them what to do, I use my left hand so that I can look at it as I point.
There. Okay, that's good. What's the other thing you got?
The other one it seems to be the controversial buy that I've made so far this year. I bought the Timex Hodinkee.
You bought the Timex Hodinkee. Okay. That's right. You did buy the
Let me tell you what. This little watch has sparked so much conversation. And from my post, I've had 6 people go out and buy the watch. They all said, "Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be that good. Oh my gosh, I went and ordered one." Oh, da, 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 da. And then, so here's the deal: Hodinkee is getting out of the watch selling game, right? They're clearing out all their inventory of the new stuff, the pre-owned stuff. They're not selling watches anymore. This has been going on for a while. They've started doing these blowout sales.
Yeah.
So this watch was listed for like $100 for a while.
What was the retail on it? It was
$279.
Yeah.
Less than 300. It was $279. So it sat at $100, and I was sitting at work one day and I'm scrolling through waiting for, the end of the day to come, and I come across the Hodinkee ad, and it said, "Today only, 1 day sale." It was at $59. I'm like, $59, you get a Hodinkee sign dial, you get a Miyota automatic movement, a real nice leather strap. It's a whole nice little package, right? $59. I couldn't say no. So I bought it. I didn't have high hopes. And I will tell you, and I know, and I'm gonna have to send this to you so you can see it in person. This is one you have to see in person, because in pictures, this watch is horrible. In person, it's fantastic. I've had so much fun with this watch. This thing is great. The depth of the detail on the dial is where it's at. It really is. It's really cool. The K shape is really nice. The bezel is nice. The hands are nice. I mean, my only complaint about this watch is you can really hear the rotor spinning, especially when it's on your wrist and you're moving around. You can hear it clanking around inside of there.
That should be a Caravelle.
Yeah, well, so this is
if you're listening.
This is a 369 dial.
Yeah.
When this watch came out several years ago, the very first thing that we said was this would have been a perfect Caravelle Sea Hunter reissue.
Perfect. The size is a little big. Yeah, I think that's what, 40?
This is a 40. If it was a 39, 38, and I realize that it's only a millimeter or two, but I feel like that would have made a huge difference.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Well, even like this, so the 665 is 35 millimeters, and the Sea Hunters and Sea Devils are 38, and there's a difference there too. And it's not, it's not stark, but it's just enough. Same thing with it's like it's the same thing with that single crown super compressor. which is
Mhm.
also 35, and that watch is just fantastic. It's great to wear, but it's also got the long lugs. That's an opportunity, and I think that Bulova should try to take advantage of that and reissue a Caravel Sea Hunter that would be similar, because obviously Timex could do it at a price point that worked. Caravel should be able to do it at a price point that works. You
And
don't need a date function. It doesn't even need to be automatic. You could do it as a quartz. It would be okay. But like a limited edition, hand wound, I'd pay $600 for that.
well, but here's the thing. Caravel has mechanical watches for the same price point as this retailed originally. And I will say this, the $59 is a fantastic
Oh no,
bargain for
you
what this
can't.
is.
I am not. I will not poo poo that purchase.
Well,
For what it was and how much you paid for it and what you got. It's like, yeah, okay, I would have probably done the same thing.
here's the thing. $59 was a fantastic buy, right? Can't go wrong with it. Even if it was worse than what it is, you still can't go wrong with it
Right,
for,
you could part it
the
out.
specs that it has. Yeah. Um, After that, it went back up to $100, which is still stupid cheap. And everybody that I talked to that has bought one paid the $100 for it. I'm like, you won't regret it. It's worth $100 for sure. You can't go wrong. Even at $279, it's still worth it at $279 for less than $300. Still worth it. This is a really cool little watch. So I'll when I get past the honeymoon phase of wearing it, I'll send it out to you so you can see. And I think you'll change your mind. The only thing that I don't like about the Timexes are the straps that they come with.
Yeah.
They do kind of the Bulova thing where the bottom end is really long.
Well, yeah, but you're trying to hit your whole demographic, and so you've
And
got
I get that.
6 inches to the list,
You're trying to appeal to a wide range of wrist sizes and that, and I get it. But and that's a problem unique to me because it's just too long for my wrist. And I don't have a small wrist. I've got an average size 7-inch wrist. Yours
Yeah.
is a little bigger than mine. So what
Genetic.
I did is I put an FKM Tropic on here. Fits perfect.
Yeah, it's a
Like
good look.
this should have come with a Tropic strap or a
Came
rubber
on
strap
leather,
of some
right?
sort. Came on leather, yeah, real thick, kind of hard to break in
Okay.
leather. It's the same company that does the leather for the Red Wing shoes, so I feel
Well,
like their
the
leather.
Horween leather. That's a really good leather strap. I'm not gonna knock it, but
It's a great quality strap. It's
are
a
they
great
are they
color
marketing
that
that
come
as a
with here.
diver? Is that supposed to be a diver, or does it have any kind of water resistance to speak of?
100 meters. It is a diver.
Okay.
The bezel rotates,
Okay.
so it's not a true diver 200-meter watch per se, but it's 100 meters. I mean, it's
A skin diver.
enough to do what you need to do. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Well, there's
so
20 minutes of my life I won't get back.
that's what I got. That's new.
What are you drinking?
What?
Look, I'm
I've got
almost done
some.
with mine. This is how long we've been going on.
I've got mango margarita.
Cheers, my man.
It was National Jimmy Buffett Day here in Florida.
Is it every day Jimmy Buffett Day?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. But so I bought some mango margaritas to celebrate that, and I'm still working on finishing off that bottle.
All
So
right.
cheers to you. And I'm wearing my 72 Jetstar. I don't know if you can see. This is the red and black version.
Oh, the A from the first A versus the Stars and Stripes.
This is the first A, the red and black version. So funny thing about this real quick. I've been wearing this one a whole lot more recently. I've restored so many of these and have sold them, and everybody else is enjoying all my work. And the ones that I have tucked away have been restored, but I don't wear those because I'm keeping them nice and fresh. This is the first one that I actually did for myself to be able to just wear and enjoy a really nice restored example. And I've been wearing the heck out of it. Why it's taken me this long to do this for myself, I have no idea.
More margarita. There's another 5 minutes I won't get back. So that's good. I am drinking Bloody
Why
Mary.
you love me.
You're something. Because I drank way too much last night. And then somebody said, we're doing shots. And I knew it was a problem. It was a very slow morning in the Miller household. But I've got on the GMT on this loom strap. So the whole thing glows in the dark, and it's
So you went back to the strap on that one, huh?
well, I did because it's hot. So summer, that's when you throw the NATOs on, you take the leather off, and you get rid of your bracelets. But that leads us directly into our topic of the day, which is straps. What do you do? What's the point? Straps again, actually.
Yeah, this is the second strap episode that we've done.
But this was brought on. This was brought on by Mike's escapades with that Yama going from the white strap to the blue strap. But but seriously, because it makes.
So I'm the impetus behind this whole episode here.
Yes, you are. You are that, and
right.
and let's talk about your Python. Let's talk about your Python, and then we're going to try an experiment.
Strap.
That's the other reason. That's the other impetus to bring this sucker up.
So I asked you to pick a topic. You picked this topic. Apparently, I was the muse behind this topic.
Yes.
You guide me through this episode.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it was when you got the Louis Arad and you started thinking, okay, I need some other strap options for this watch. And you started thinking about, okay, what, exotics and what else could I do and how could I get something interesting? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what, and then you saw that red and black Python that you decided would be good on the Jetstar. What was that going to be on?
The Merlot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so there it is, and you ordered.
And this is it here. So
yeah, you ordered the strap.
I ordered the strap. This is, to the best of my knowledge, not natural coloring.
I don't think there's that color pythons, but
I've never seen a python labeled as black Bordeaux.
There, correct.
Which is what this is. I love exotic straps. I really get into the exotic strap stuff. I have several of the Stingrays. I love the Stingray straps. And I've started
Zodiac, and I really like it on the Zodiac too. And I didn't think I
have one on the Zodiac. I have one on one of the new Jetstars, the Stars and Stripes, the new version of it. I have my blue Stingray on there. I have some exotic lizard straps on a few different watches. I've always wanted to have a snakeskin strap. I'm going to order it. This was a strap that was already made, not a made to order strap like a lot of them usually are. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it was something that somebody ordered and either returned or didn't want anymore. And it's just leftover that they had in stock. They were just trying to get rid of. I bought it, fairly cheap. And thought, well, how can you go wrong?
And
then it showed up.
And that's how you
went wrong.
So
I
talk
went
us
wrong.
through that.
Snakeskin, I'm beginning to learn, is a difficult material to work with because of the scales. And it's not a typical leather like anything else would be. Your ostrich, your shark, your stingray, your cowhide, whatever, is all one piece of skin. Snakeskin is a little bit different. You have the snakeskin, but the scales on top of that are individual pieces, right? So when this came, everything was, number one, very dry. And because of that, it started to crack and peel. Being my first snakeskin strap, I don't know if that is a characteristic normal and to be expected over years of use, but I feel like it shouldn't have come this way from the strap maker right out of the box. I feel like something was wrong with this. They're trying to unload it or whatever. And I just got the leftovers of something gone wrong. So I have a buddy at work, the same guy who we were talking last episode about the beer and that. And he's very big into leather stuff, leather boots, belts, things like that. He's got some leather conditioner that he gave me, and you just basically rub it in here and it absorbs it, and it just kind of rehydrates a little bit. Yeah. So that's what I did to this. It seems to have taken fairly well. It's a lot softer than what it was, that's for sure. It's not going to repair the damage that's already there, but my hope is it just kind of
prevents more, right?
Prevents more and prolongs the life of the actual scales.
Yeah.
that are on the strap. It looks fantastic. It looks great. I love the look of it. I love the match for the dial of this watch. I just feel like this will be one that I don't get to wear very often because I'm in fear of it just getting worse. So I don't know. If you're listening to this or watching this and you've dealt with snakeskin straps, python straps in the past, and you can comment, educate me a little bit. Like, what am I in for? Will it get worse? Should it have been better? Should it not have fallen apart right away? I really don't know. This is my first foray into snakeskin straps, and I feel like I want to try again with somebody else, but I will pay up for it and get what should be a higher quality strap from a higher quality strap maker and see what that's all about.
The other thing you may want to see if you can find somebody who has them in stock, like get to go handle it first rather than, dealing with.
See, that's the problem is a lot of the exotic leather straps are made to order.
Right.
So it's hard to find stuff that's in stock where something like this that was in stock, you kind of get what you get, and that's really it.
I mean, it'd be better if you had a place like Feldmar. Feldmar, you can look at aftermarket straps. They've got things in stock, and if it's not the right size, you can at least see the quality before you grab it. And so that to me is always an interesting point. See, but I don't get into the exotic leathers that much, and that is part of my personal peccadillo, just because I have mostly divers. And so, like, I do have some leather straps. I do have them on a couple of watches, some of my dress pieces, and I enjoy those and I like them a lot. But we're looking at it as a dress piece. You're not going to be going with Python.
I've got a question real quick. You are very vocal about no leather on divers.
Correct.
I have leather on my yacht timer.
You do.
Is that acceptable to you?
I'm debating.
Because it's not a diver.
It's not.
However, it is can you call it an aquatic watch? Because technically,
I think my opinion that if you have a yacht timer and your yacht timer gets wet, you have done something horribly wrong in your yacht.
You're having a bad day.
So you've got bigger problems than whether or not your watch is going to stay on. So that's my opinion.
Until further notice, it is acceptable then.
Today.
Okay.
Today.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Okay. All right. Carry on.
So because of Mike's strap issues, I thought it would be interesting to revisit and just sort of talk through when you're looking at watches. And there's a couple of different ways that you've got this. If you're buying a watch new, you more often than not have the option of getting a strap or a bracelet. And so when you're getting a watch new, if you've got that as an option, if you're not trying to be price conscious, right, because a bracelet's always more expensive, typically the goal is to buy the bracelet because straps are cheap. Straps are easy to get. Cheap NATO straps, dot straps, or whatever their new CNS straps, which is a weird straps is in there twice, but whatever. They've got options that are pretty solid. And then, Straps Co., Uncle Straps, a variety of other places that you can get a number of aftermarket straps or bracelets. But
I will agree with that. If you're going to buy a watch, get it with the bracelet because usually it's a fitted end link.
Right.
And it may not always be easy to fit an aftermarket bracelet, especially if you have a different, design type of watch. The Yema has that option. You get the bracelet, you get the strap. However, their bracelet option is a Milanese mesh, not a curved end link. It's just a straight end, typical Milanese mesh bracelet. It did have a Yema signed clasp.
What was the price difference?
And that is why $100. $30.
30? Okay.
I bought the leather strap because for either colorway, the base of the strap itself matches the dial, and then the contrast stitching matches the details in the subdials. So I felt like the strap was more customized for the watch than the bracelet was in this instance, which is kind of backwards.
Yeah, it normally goes the other way, but also on top of that, it's like, a Milanese mesh with straight end links It's like, come on,
Well,
$6.
well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't worth it to buy the bracelet because you can buy a Milanese
Right.
and get the same effect. Here's the problem, and this is what you're talking. So I have it on. This is a JWNSPA. It's from Amazon. It's a basic company, but it's a nice strap overall. Um,
Yeah.
Seafoam to match the seafoam
Yeah.
dial colors.
It's
This
a
was
great,
the original strap,
and the stitching
and it's
helps. There's no stitching on that, but I think that also
no,
works.
there is. It's hard to see, but it's a
Oh,
light
no,
seafoam.
on the white one, but not on the blue.
Oh, on here, no, there's no. It would be nice if there was a white contrast, but with the original strap, it was just too much white. It was too much white, and I think the seafoam strap evens it out, balances it out. It
Yeah.
highlights the white dial more than
No,
the
I
strap
agree.
just
And
rounds it out.
I think that that's a fantastic swap. And I think that it elevates the watch and it helps the watch. And to me, it makes the watch more appealing. Like on the white, I wouldn't have bought that ever, but on the blue, yeah, I would give that a second look, you know? And so that brings up kind of the question, because when you're buying new, you've got that as the option. But what happens if you're buying used? And so somebody else has got a strap on there that you may or may not like, or that was their choice. In my case, it's usually I'm getting a diver that's on leather. It's like, okay, well, that's got to go. So
What,
the thing that always comes up though is, okay, do you go back to original and try to find what's original for that watch, or do you try to find what matches your aesthetic? And it's
well,
kind of a question of what
it
kind
all
of
depends. It all
yeah.
depends on what you want out of the watch. Going back to the Jetstars again, my 10-piece collection, right? Tucked away collection. I am working on getting all the original straps or bracelets for them.
Yes.
And I'm 8 out of 10. And I think for that purpose of having the original set, the original watches, the way that they were from the factory in the 70s, that's important to have that original strap with the watch.
Right.
Something like this one, this isn't the original bracelet that belongs on here. It's just a bracelet that I happen to like that looks good on this particular watch.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I don't feel the need to have the original bracelet for this, just to wear it, as a personal wear watch.
Okay, but also, at least in
But I feel the need to have it on one that's in the collection, though.
I get it, but I don't like the original bracelets on those. I don't like the gap. I don't like a couple of things about it, and to the point that, like, so if you were to bust out the Jetstar C, the Merlot, is that the C or the B?
The A.
The A. Nah, see, like I'm not Mr. Jetstar. So if you were to bust out the A on the original bracelet, which you have, and you compare that to the one that you gave me, which is on an aftermarket bracelet, but that one snugs up to the lugs, and I prefer that look all day long. 100%. Like there's no comparison, and that makes it an aftermarket strap that I think works better than the original bracelet. That's just my opinion. And so again, it comes down to it. But in general, if you're going to default to something, defaulting to the original bracelet is never a bad idea. But even with that, okay, that brings up an interesting point. And so we're going to blame, what's his name? Caleb, your boy.
Yes.
Right. This is Caleb's fault. Okay. So anybody who doesn't like it, blame Caleb. All right.
So hold on. We're going to have to give the backstory here a little bit.
No backstory. No backstory.
No, real quick. No. Yeah. Caleb just wanted to see things that we were talking about. And
yeah,
I told
Caleb,
him,
use your imagination, because this is what you get now. All right. All right. And it's coming.
Editing,
it's coming right at you.
Editing pictures in is way too difficult. So Joe came up with a solution for him.
Yes.
He's got a second camera set up.
I got a second camera set up. Okay. So this is a Accutron Deep Sea A. And this is an original bracelet. However, this is not the original bracelet that you see on this watch on a regular basis. There were a couple different versions of it. There was a more of a shark mesh versus this sort of brick style. And this bracelet, it's original. It works great. It's a fantastic choice. I love it. But you've got options when it comes to this watch. All right. So then the other question you have is like, okay, if we talk about this watch, the GMT, and I've got it on this loom, sort of like a almost a Omega style space strap. And this watch came on rubber, and the rubber is not great, which is not, it's not a slam on the quality of it. It just doesn't work as well because it's too thick. So that means that I went out and bought a totally separate watch to get a bracelet that matches the case metal so that I can have a bracelet to go for this watch. And it's fitted, it's solid end links, quick release, all the other stuff that goes with it. But that is not the way that the manufacturer had this watch. This is not the way that it was released. This is not the way that it was marketed. But this is a way better look.
It's a way better look. And here's the thing. Really, when you get down to the root of it, bracelets, straps, whatever, are all extremely, extremely personal.
Yeah.
And when we had the design department from Bulova on, we were talking about, you know, the time and effort that they put into designing the bracelets, specifically into the watches, you know, where they have the solid end links, how they follow the flow lines of the case and the actual links themselves and the design, the ideas and effort that's put into designing a bracelet, right? And I get that. And I appreciate that for what it is. And it's nice to have the original bracelet with the watch as it came. But answer me this question. How many times, and we'll go new watches for this. How many times have you bought a new watch on a bracelet and have never changed the bracelet?
Often for me on new watches. Yeah. But it's, you know, you think about, well, yeah, pretty often. Like most of my new watches, I don't swap the bracelet out. The only one that I did is the Jetstar, the re-edition, that Merlot that I have, and I'll put a really nice herringbone Merlot NATO on that. But otherwise, I keep that on the bracelet, and I prefer it that way. But if I want to change that one up, that's how I'll do it.
But see, I very rarely keep them on the bracelet or strap that they come on because I always seem to find a better option, dare I say,
than the bracelet, than the OEM bracelet.
And more often than not, if I take the bracelet off, I'm putting a strap on. I love straps.
Because you're not a NATO guy.
I'm not a big NATO guy. It's funny you bring that up. My surfboard is actually on a NATO again right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have NATOs on some watches, but not on a lot. And I typically prefer two-piece to NATOs. And that's just because,
why is that? You do. And why is that?
Well, I don't like the extra height that you get.
It kind of defeats the purpose, though.
Well, no, because I like the look of the nylon, but I don't want the depth that goes with it, right? Because most of the, like, if I'm looking at that type of watch and a watch is going to work well on a NATO, to me that is a military piece, and I don't need the high profile. Like I've got that on my mill ships. So the mill ships is on a two-piece nylon because otherwise it's just way too tall.
So let me ask you this. When you say two-piece NATO, is it like the NATO strap that came with the lunar pilot? Do your two-piece NATO still have?
I have no idea because I've never looked at that strap.
Okay. Do you have the pass underneath?
So like if we talk about the lunar pilot, I immediately when I got that watch, I took it off of the bracelet and I put it onto a NASA style Velcro strap, hook and loop strap, you know, real similar to the one that I've got, real similar to this, because I love that look. And that was what the Dave Scott watch was on. The bracelet and the bracelet for that watch it's excellent. It's very well done. I'll wear it in the winter, but to me, that watch that's a tool watch. And the one I've got has like elastic right at the lugs. And so, it's comfortable all day long.
A good conversation, right? I have two versions of the Lunar Pilot. I have the black version like what you've got, and I have the blue and white Panda. On my black version, I have the same style Velcro type, spacesuit style strap on that. Looks great with the black dial. The Panda version, though, I can't wear on a strap. I have a hard time with that. To me, that is a bracelet watch.
That's which is fine because I think that
And it's,
the dial calls
but
for
it's
it.
funny though, because they're exactly the same watch, just a different color palette. And one is very much a
Huge
strap
difference.
watch to me, and the other one is very much a bracelet watch, although they're
Yeah,
identical in every other way.
I don't disagree with you, but I think it might be interesting if you were to try it on a blue strap, or if you found a strap that was going to highlight the dial a little bit better. Like maybe something that's a solid stripe, like even a GT40 kind of blue and white stripe. That might
No,
work.
that's too light. But back to my original question. Your two-piece NATOs, does it have the pass underneath the watch? Okay, so it's not a NATO, so you're just wearing a
So yeah,
strap.
it's a nylon strap,
Okay.
right? They're marketed. They're marketed as two-piece NATOs. That's what everybody calls them. So I'm just going off of the marketing material that is provided to me by the supplier. All right.
But the actual function of a NATO strap is void because it
I
doesn't.
know, right? But the actual function of a dive watch, okay.
What?
The function of a dive watch is to go diving, but nobody does.
Okay.
My dive watches don't get wet. Well, not all of them.
Okay.
Most of them
All right.
don't.
Okay.
Right?
Moving on.
I've got
I feel
like
this
three. Okay.
going nowhere quick.
So the other question then becomes, okay, how do you, if you're looking at in the vintage world and you're trying to find a strap or bracelet that is correct, right? If you get a watch that's come on the wrong piece, what do you try to replace it with? Right. And it goes back to this idea of what the watch is. And so case in point is this. Okay. Oceanographer V, vintage, because it's got the day date in it. And it is on a 5-link fitted end lug, signed strap, or bracelet, excuse me. This is not the right bracelet. It's close, but it's not.
What is it signed as? Because it's not what it should be signed as.
No, it's an Accutron sign. It's got an Accutron versus a Bulova. So
but explain to the ladies and gentlemen where that bracelet came from.
Well, it came from you. Where did you get it? I don't even remember where you got it.
That is a cheap $35 Caravel. I don't even know what model it is. It's a Caravel, like a 7 jewel Caravel model that just happens to come on the perfect bracelet to fit those oceanographer cases.
Right. And so I traded you. I had a president style with fitted end lugs that's correct for the G or close to correct for the G. Mm-hmm. And I traded that to you for this because I had one similar to it already on my G. But this becomes an interesting question because now this looks correct. It looks like it's supposed to, or real close to it, and it's the right kind of bracelet to fit that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But then the other question is, okay, what about this? This is the original bracelet. This is the correct bracelet. Mm-hmm. And it's awful.
How was it awful?
Well, I mean, you got this huge gap that's going on. You got the weird Corfam filled indices, and you got all these other things like this. This would probably be better on a rally style strap, a rally style leather strap.
Here's the funny part about you, and this is what I don't understand about you. Among all the other things I don't understand about you, yeah,
many other things.
You're a hardcore. If you can get it on the bracelet, get it on the bracelet. If you can get the original bracelet, buy the original bracelet. Yep. You have for argument's sake, an ultra rare Bulova watch.
Yes.
On the original bracelet.
Correct.
And yet you still don't like it.
I don't care for this bracelet. I don't like the bracelet. But the thing for me, and this is always kind of like, I don't like the gap. I just don't care for it. And if I'm going to have that kind of gap, then I might as well do something else because to me,
that's what I don't get because you're very much it has to be factory correct. And when factory correct has a gap, you're against factory correct.
Yeah, that's my aesthetic. It's a problem. It's a huge problem for me. I
You see,
understand.
ladies and gentlemen, what I have to work with.
Right. So
what are you going to do? Are you going to keep it on that bracelet, or are you going to put it on a strap?
I'm going to keep it on this bracelet because I don't know that I've got a strap that will work for it yet, but I haven't messed around with that yet because getting this bracelet off is kind of a pain. So if I can pull that off, then I might. And I've got a couple of rally style straps that in leather that I think would work good on this watch. Because we've seen, you had the one that we have from the mystery collector that you've returned, correct?
It went off to service.
Went off for service. Okay, that one was on
that one, yeah,
and it didn't look bad at all. It actually looked pretty good. So
yeah,
it's a good
that
option.
one. He decided to go with a leather strap similar to what the Octavia would have come on.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's okay because when you look at what these watches are, that's what they kind of come on. But then you get into this. So Accutron, but it's also it's got a really awkward lug. This bracelet's real specific, and and it's actually screwed in. It has a large pin that you screw in from the sides. So this, you can't put this on anything else. And if you don't have the bracelet, you're screwed.
And that goes for all integrated bracelets. And unless there is a company that makes a strap specifically for your application, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it's always an issue when it comes to that kind of thing. So
like the PRX, for example, that from the factory doesn't come on a strap. They don't make a strap version of that, do they?
No.
It's strictly bracelet. But there's a handful of aftermarket brands that'll make a strap specifically for the PRX.
Yes. And they're great.
And they're fantastic, yeah. And you can mix and match and personalize it, and it looks great.
Rubber, FKM, I think there's some leather as well. So you can do a lot of stuff with it. But then you run into the questions, okay, what do you do for something that's going to be more difficult to find the bracelet for? And what's your strap option? What do you choose? And for me, it's always back to Tropic. And I know you don't like Tropic in the same way that I do.
It's not that I don't like Tropic. Aesthetically, I like Tropic. I have an issue wearing Tropic. Now, that said, this is on Tropic, and this one fits me very good. But vintage Tropic, I don't know. I've got something with vintage Tropic. It just does not wear well for me.
It made it. You know what though? It actually may depend on the vintage Tropic because is it old Tropic or is it vintage? This Tropic is of the same era of the watch. This is early 60s. And it's like new old stock. It's in incredibly good shape. And it's very, very supple. It's really soft. It's really, really good. And it's different than what the current stuff is because I don't think it's as much plastic. It's probably a little bit more, natural rubber and some other things. This one's also got the curved end links. And so it snugs up to the case a little bit better. Although for me on Tropic, that isn't a breaker. I can go with the straight end links for Tropics for whatever reason. And so, I'm a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
That's to say the least.
Okay. But then it brings you to something like this. And I can't stand it up because I don't have a strap on it. So this watch, what does it go on? It's a diver.
Mesh.
Could go on mesh, right? But then so it's a straight end link, but the OEM bracelet is a lot closer to this.
Okay. Hold on now. You say OEM bracelet, but OEM is Tropic for that watch. That watch did not come on a bracelet.
Except you can get them on a bracelet and it's a fitted end link as well.
You can get other brands that share that same case on a bracelet.
It's a fitted end link bracelet. And you see in advertisements as also.
Bulova. Show me a Bulova advertisement where that's sitting on a fitted end link bracelet.
Show me a Bulova advertisement.
I showed you the catalog for crying out loud. It was on a
right, but it's not a domestic watch, and so that makes it a really interesting thing because this watch is kind of an unknown. It doesn't even have a name, and we're colloquially calling it the 774. That's what's on the case. That's the case number, case designation. So it doesn't even have a like the other one I've got that's similar to that is called the chronograph, even though it's not a chronograph. This one has nothing. So like what do I end up putting that on? I don't know. If I can find one of those bracelets, that would be ideal.
But you can't call it OEM though. You can call it on a bracelet, but you can't call it OEM bracelet.
It'd be on a vintage bracelet.
A period correct bracelet. How's that?
Vintage
we'll
steel.
settle on that.
Vintage steel. Okay. If you watch enough of my Instagram feed, because I have a lot of watches that are on steel bracelets. The snorkels are a great example of that. The pre-snorkels that I've got that are all on a Caravel bracelet that just happens to fit really, really well, and you can find it cheap because the original bracelet was probably more similar to this one. And people are asking $1,200 to get the watch on that. I'm like, yeah, I can go buy that Caravel for $35 and have a bracelet I know works and looks good and feels great and sounds good. It's got that
jingle.
So
you like the jingle. I like the jingle.
I do like the jingle.
There are people who don't like the jingle, and I wonder why that is.
Because it ends up sounding cheap. I've talked to people about it, and I prefer that sound. But it's also, when you talk with Rolex people, if they like the rivet bracelet or not, because the rivet bracelet was a cheaper, earlier version, and it didn't have the solid end links, and it had the folded clad, blah 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 blah. But I like that. I prefer that. I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on it. So for your vintage watches, if you can't find the OEM bracelet, do you have a go-to bracelet style? Because I have a go-to style.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a go-to style because I think that each watch is slightly different. So on the Deep Sea B, I've got a brick style because it's got a straight end link. But on the Caravel Clipper, I've got a ladder style bracelet on that one. And then I've got shark mesh. All my Caravels are slightly different in terms of what I think that looks best on that particular watch. So no, I don't have a go-to style, but you do?
I do. And it just happens to be on the watch that I'm wearing. I love a President bracelet. And if I can throw it on a 18 millimeter President bracelet, it'll go on one.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's a good style. It's like for me, maybe my go-to would be a Tropic, just because I end up with a lot of divers. So like it's always appropriate. A diver is always appropriate on a Tropic.
And aesthetically, it looks great. It's just works. Wearing it on a Tropic. I have a hard time doing that. I really do.
Like so the Accutron Deep Sea B. So like this is the Deep Sea A, but the Deep Sea B, which I have.
Sorry, Caleb, we don't have one handy to show on camera.
Well, you're gonna have to go back. We've talked about this one before though. And
ask me on Monday.
We'll share pictures. It came on Shark. I think it came on Shark.
Yes.
Not Ray. It came on Shark.
Which I also think is funny because you are anti-leather on diver. However, from the factory, this one came on Shark leather.
And I have Accutron signed.
I know you do.
I have that strap. I have that strap. And I have
the strap, but you don't have it on the watch.
What's it on? It's on a gray Tropic because it matches the dial and it's perfect. Because the black Tropic wouldn't work on it. Didn't work nearly as well. I tried it on that, and I had Oliver watches with Oliver gave me that gray Tropic, and it's perfect for that watch.
We have to bet on something.
Okay.
Something. So that way, when I inevitably win that bet, you have to wear that watch on Shark for like a week. A diver on leather, which I know will rankle you.
Boy, that's mean. Oh God, what can I do in return? What would be another appropriate?
I don't know, but then again, we don't have anything to bet on either. So
we got to ponder that one though, because if that's the case, you're going down. Holy crap! Anyway,
yeah,
that was it. That was the topic.
where does that leave us? I think just as confused as we were before.
Well, I mean, it really comes down to this idea that if you can get the bracelet, get the bracelet, but that's just because it's going to be what the watch was supposed to come on. The strap option is usually a cheaper version, but you don't need it because you're probably going to swap the strap out. It's going to depend a whole lot on your aesthetic and also how you wear the watch. Like for me, leather doesn't go on divers, and I have mostly divers, so I don't do that, and I don't mess around with the leather as much as you do. But
Yeah.
I also think that when you start to take a look at the choices that I've made for some of the watches that I've got, the choices are good ones and that works aesthetically. And it's something that's really kind of funny when I'll be looking at people's watches that show up on my Instagram feed, particularly if it's a watch that I have. I'm not commenting on the watch. I'm commenting on the strap or on the bracelet or on, whatever their choices were. It's like, yeah, that's a great bracelet for that. That's a great strap choice for that. Rather than, saying something else like, oh, that's a lovely watch. I have exactly like it. It's like, yeah, no, nobody cares about that. No, but if I can compliment your choice that you've gone to wear that watch, then yeah.
And
Because
that's almost like an ultimate compliment you can pay to someone because again, strap choices is very personal to the individual. And for somebody to say, hey, you know what? That looks good.
Mhm.
You feel good about that because you feel validated in that you made a good choice for what that watch is and the strap that you purchased.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you think about like the sort of the watch idiot savant appropriate comment, and strap choice is usually it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the watch, I may not care for the watch, but the watch with that strap pairing really works, and it looks really good. I would never do it, but it works for you, and I can compliment that. And so I think that's also kind of a cool thing that happens in the hobby. So
Yeah.
if you can't say anything nice, compliment the strap.
There you go.
That's our
Oh,
takeaway.
that's our yep.
How do we get in touch, Mike?
Well, this morning, Joe, we make up the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us, thespringbarpodcast@gmail.com. On a personal level, I am 120 clicks, all spelled out, one long word, 120 clicks. Joe.
I am Watch Taylor Youth, all one word, EUPH, Watch Taylor Youth. And get in the comments, see if you can come up with something for us to bet on that will make me have to wear leather.
Something.
Yeah. If you made it this far, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think our viewer retention is really all that good.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But
yeah.
But if you liked our little screen of showing off all the watches, that was my idea. And if you didn't like that, you can blame Caleb.
Oh, that's funny. And on that note,
not for Caleb.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, until next time, when I actually have a witty ending to an episode, I don't have one today. Cheers.
Cheers.